my condolences do go out to Cassie because nobody deserves to be abused or beaten. I saw the video and I've been observing, the general consensus about it, and overall people are very, pro, like on her side, just like, oh no, this is terrible, like I feel so bad, I'm staying with Cassie, and it's good, whatever. I hope she feels better soon. But my question is, why does Cassie get all the grace, all the understanding, but then all the millions of others of domestic violence, survivors or people, I see so much on social media, oh, I'm done with her because she's male-centered and she, keeps fucking with that dude, or just in general, the victim blaming that goes on when anything happens. It's your fault because you're just a dumb bitch. If you really didn't like it, you would leave. Or, we hope he'll kill you next time. Maybe you'll learn something. That's what a nurse told me one of the times that I went, to the emergency room. And I was like, damn. But yeah, it triggers me a little bit because, I will never, if I spend the rest of my life trying to understand, or no, to explain to you the devastation and the psychotic, sadistic evil, that my ex was, and how he manipulated me, I had no idea, like narcissism, whatever, gaslighting, whatever. I ended up, I was in the psych ward, left and losing my mind, just trying to navigate and understand, make him happy, losing myself, bending over backwards, trying to satisfy him. Meanwhile, he hates my ass, and he's just, the more time goes on, the worse he treats me, the worse, and the harder I try, and it just gets bad. And it's just people are looking and commenting on that video, oh, it's so terrible, and again, I'm really not trying to compare and contrast, because, you know what I mean, because it's just whether you drown in 4 feet or 10 feet, we're both dead, trauma's trauma. But imagine I being dragged by your hair, being kicked 10 plus times, being choked into, you lose consciousness, and whenever you try to lean on your family or friends or anyone for support, oh my God, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it. It's your own fault. You're dealing with it, and no one wants to try and, it's sad, I get it, because people love you, they don't want to see you suffer, so they get pissed off and they take steps back, that's what they have to do for their mental health, and I get it, but meanwhile, you are still writhing like a worm on a hot fucking pavement, along, yeah, so, yeah, when I had to, get out of that relationship, I was on my own, no family, no friends, and I couldn't, he kept all my things, my phone, my keys, my wallet, everything, and he was, beating my ass on a regular basis, he was doing a lot of meth at the time, and, just really extra, just unpredictable, and, I mean, I've talked about it before, and I won't go on and on and on, but, had to run for my life, and sleep on the streets for weeks, and be preyed upon, by many people, men and women, and it was, just to survive, and just get away from him, and I had to spend a year in fucking rehab, trying to get off the drugs that he got me hooked on, which I absolutely will blame him for, and be I'm accountable. He didn't put a gun to my head, at least at first, but I didn't have any Xanax plugs. I didn't have any crack dealers or meth or, I didn't have that shit since I moved from North Carolina. So, like, you will never understand. And then, when terrible things happen to this, like you, when someone sets you on fire, or, drags you by your hair down a hallway when you're naked and bloody, and people come out of their room, by the way, because of the noise, but they just stand there and they don't do shit, and then you call, the police show up, and whatever, never mind. You are forever changed. You can't trust anyone. You're scared to death. No matter how much you heal, you will never be the same. The brain damage, from the neurological, just like traumatic trauma of it all. You can't trust anyone. So, I feel bad for Cassie. I'm glad she's having her day in court and looks like, but remember this, or think about this, like, when people are in abusive relationships, obviously they're not they're not in their right mind. They are under a spell. Their whole being, heart, soul, mind has been hijacked by their abuser. Like, in those famous cases where, like, child molesters or serial killers would abduct people and then have them, tied up or, like, captured with them for, like, 15 or whatever plus years, and then when they finally got saved, they would, like, protect their abuser and still be in love with them and not want to leave them because they, like, because of the trauma. They trauma bonded with their abuser. So they couldn't let him go, because to let him go would mean that they would die, because they are so brainwashed from all the torment and sadisticness. So yeah, this is just, awareness. I'm rambling at this point, but, it's disgusting. And I have no way, me personally, any guy watching this or who might be interested or whatever, I'm not trying to be conceited, I'm just saying, I have no way to discern, if you are a fucking psycho, I'm pretty good, I can do good sometimes, I've developed at least a long list of tells and red flags, but, Blake was the man of my dreams for the first year. And then he turned into a man so evil, hell would spit him back out. So I'm not going to risk and just roll the dice and hope for the best. Fuck all of you. I have been, my dad was, no. If he's in the military, if he's a doctor, if he's a police officer, if he works construction, if he does if he has a cock and balls, it's just a matter of time.